Parapsychology Today, a program of investigation into the realms of the unknown. Suspend your mind for a moment and journey to a world beyond the five senses. Parapsychology Today is a program exploring ideas, theories, and concepts that have been around since ancient times. We'll journey to outer worlds and inner worlds. We'll look into such phenomena as past lives, UFOs, and hauntings. And we'll explore psychic ability as it relates to human potential. We do not intend to prove or persuade, but rather present theories and personal stories of ventures into the world of parapsychology. Whatever your beliefs, we hope this program will start you thinking about a reality beyond the five senses.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Parapsychology Today. I'm your host, Pauline Nortness, and I have a great guest today. This is an interesting topic. I mean, it blows my mind. I've never heard of it before. Anyway, Donna Webb is here with me today, and she is how do you pronounce that
Cardologer.
Cardologer. It's hard to say, Cardologer. Thank you for joining me today and spending the time with me. This is so exciting. And I spent some time with you, so I kind of got an idea, but it seems complicated. So first, tell me, how did you get interested in cardology? And then tell me your background, what your training is.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Pauline, for having me on your show. Cardology is the ancient science behind playing cards. And most people have heard of tarot, but tarot is a spin-off of playing cards. Playing cards is actually the original divination tool. And the way that it works is that the day a person is born is associated with a playing card, or what's called your birth card. And that birth card assigns a person card energies in what's called a life spread. So if you were to look here at my poster, I'm using my life spread as an example.
Donna's life spread, yes.
And so I like to think of this as like the cards that you're dealt with at birth. And this would be similar to your birth chart in astrology.
Does this include some astrology? It includes astrology, and you said a few other things. I can't remember. A few other things besides astrology. You have to know.
Yeah, it's actually a blending of astrology and numerology.
Oh, that was it, numerology. Wow.
Right.
Boy.
Yeah. So this is my life spread. This never changes. As I said, like in astrology, this would be similar to your birth chart. These are the energies that make me me. And so we can dig into this as an example in a little bit. But these energies are something that you're born with, and so they can reveal your past lives and your related karma, your weaknesses, your strengths, your life purpose, your calling, your life challenges. All of that information is right there in those few cards.
Now, I don't understand how you have a card when you're born. I mean, I can understand where the planets are when you're born, but how do you have a card when you're born?
Well, this is based on planetary movements as well. Think of it as like the universe is a mathematical structure.
Right.
And so a long, long time ago, there were a group of astronomers who were studying the movements of the planets and the energies in the universe. And someone evidently asked the question, well, gosh, people are part of the universe. It stands to reason that they might behave in predictable patterns just like the planets do. So they studied it, and they discovered an association between a person's personality behaviors and the day that they're born. And so the playing cards, the 52 cards, are actually a visual representation of the system. That's why there's so many similarities between the calendar and playing cards. So if you think about it, the 4 different suits of playing cards represent the 4 seasons. The 12 court cards represent the 12 months. The 52 cards are the 52 weeks of the year. Each playing card has a numerical value, so aces are equivalent to a 1, kings are a 13. And if you add all of those numbers up for all 52 cards, you get 364. You throw in the joker, it's 365 days a year.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. That's amazing. And what about the clubs, hearts? That must mean something too.
Oh, for sure. Well, let me give you an
Okay.
example using my life spread.
Okay.
So on the poster here, you can see that my sun card is a Queen of Club. So I was born June 18th, so I'm associated with the Queen of Club card, and that card is called the Mother of Intuition card. And my life purpose is to serve in the area of communication and knowledge. So that's what I'm meant to do in life. And these other cards here reveal a lot of other information. So I'll just pick a few just to kind of share with you. So like Jupiter, for example. In
Club,
Jupiter,
is that a club? No,
there's a 3 of club under
club.
Jupiter
Yeah.
and an ace of spade. And so
Oh, club, yeah, spade.
Right.
See, I don't know much about
so,
cards.
So Jupiter happens to be a planet that rules opportunities for growth. It's a great planet. It's a really positive energy. And the 2 cards I have there are very significant. The Ace of Spade, one of the meanings of that card is metaphysics.
There you
And
go.
so it just goes to
Yeah.
show that
It makes sense.
that I would be very much attracted to metaphysical studies, doing this type of work in life. And then the 3 of club is actually a card known as the writer's card. So an opportunity for growth for me too is also being a writer.
And you wrote a book.
And I have a book.
Hold that book.
So,
Let me hold that book up to the camera and tell us a little about your book.
so my book is called Unlocking the Potential of Children. I do have a doctorate degree in education, and the way this goes back to your original question in that, how did I come about learning about the cards? I began my journey over 30 years ago.
When you were very young, you were
When I
just born.
Oh yeah, I was 12 then, right? But back then I was teaching middle school students, inner city kids in Houston, Texas. Needless to say, I was working with some really challenging kids. And so one summer I was in a bookstore and I was just looking for tools, like anything to help me with my students. And I came across this book called Sacred Symbols of the Ancients. And it had a description of all the playing cards. And I read about my Queen of Club playing card, and it was spot on accurate. And I thought, well, gosh, maybe this could help me understand my students better. So I bought the book and then ended up using it to not only understand the personalities of each of my students, but also to help meet their individual needs. And I spent, like I said, over 30 years applying this knowledge to working with students and help nurturing them to their highest potential. So fast forward the past 10 years, I went back to school and got my doctorate degree in education, and most recently was teaching as an associate professor at a local university. I was preparing future teachers.
Yes.
But I felt like something was missing. And what was missing is applying cardology to understanding students and what their educational needs would be. So I thought, well, I need to write a book about it. So I did. So Unlocking the Potential of Children is a book that's for teachers, but mostly for parents to better understand their children through the lens of cardology, and to take that information and to be able to nurture a child's strengths and then help manage their weaknesses. In the beginning of the book, there's tables, so you could look up your child's birth date, and then also their birth card. And then the bulk of the book is just describing each of the cards, beginning with the Ace of Heart all the way through the King of Spade, and it describes the strengths and weaknesses of a child with that birth card. It talks about their life challenges, which is actually a really important thing to know, because a parent can be like a facilitator and help mold that child. As an example, a child that is born a Jack of Heart, they have a tendency to have really big emotions, really strong emotions, and as a young child, they have real difficulty in not only identifying them, but how to express those emotions. And oftentimes they can express their emotions in really inappropriate ways. And so therefore, Jack of Heart children tend to struggle with emotional dysregulation. And so knowing that as a parent could really help them, because then you could get books and teach your child to identify their emotions and how to manage those big emotions. And that can be a game changer in your child's life.
Absolutely. Instead of giving them drugs because they've got this problem, you find out what's causing it. This is a wonderful idea. I love it. I think parents should want to take a look at this. Now, this isn't that complicated. I mean, if we bought this book, they'll be able to understand it. So
Correct.
I want to hold this up again. I think that's a
Thank you.
I think it's a wonderful thing she's done. I just think this is beautiful. This can help people with their children. I love it. Rather than give them drugs, you know, help them understand your child and then help them. And we can make a better world.
Exactly.
If we, you know, we can make a much better world. So, wow, I'm so glad you've done that. So, to do a person's cards, it's like the same with astrology. You need their birth time. Do you need the birthplace and everything? Just the same as astrology?
No, actually, you need less information than you would for astrology, because astrology requires the birth time, as you mentioned, and location. All I need for cardology is to have the month, the date, and the year of birth.
Ah, month, doesn't matter where you're born.
Correct.
Okay, that's interesting. Can you give me an example, without mentioning a name, of a client that this might have helped?
Sure. Let me give you an example of one that I had just this past year.
Okay.
So I had a client, a female client, whose son just turned 27 at the beginning of the year, and he lost his job. And so Mom was just really worried about him, and he was living in New York City, and it was really expensive for rent. And of course, she was all worried he was going to move.
I'd be worried.
Yeah, move home, and and wouldn't be able to get another job. So she set up an appointment, and I met with the two of them, and I looked at his yearly spreads of energies. So let me just kind of divert for a minute to talk about that, just so people understand what I'm talking about. So as I mentioned earlier, cardology is the original divination tool. And
divination means seeing the future?
Seeing the future.
Okay, we'll talk about that too.
Exactly. So as an example on my poster here, I have what's called a yearly spread of energies for a man named Chang at age 46. And so these are energies that he'll experience for his whole birthday year at age 46, not a calendar year. And
no, so if he was born in December, from December to December, I get it.
Exactly, exactly. And these cards have certain energies that a person will take in. And then, of course, there's free will. These are predestined, but people have free will as to how they'll manifest these energies. There are higher and lower manifestations of the energies. So as an example, your main energy for the year is called your long range card. 2 years ago, I had a 3 of club as my long range card. The higher manifestation of that energy is, of course, creative expression. It's the writer's card. But a lower manifestation of that same energy is stress and anxiety. If you think about it, if you have all these ideas in your mind, but you're unable to express them creatively, they build up and they cause stress. It's kind of like a soda can that's shook up, and then when you release it,
pressure cooker.
It's not in a good way, right? So I leveraged that energy by writing that year, and that was the year that I wrote my book.
Did you know that was a good year for you to write?
Exactly, because I was able to look at that energy ahead of time and then leverage that energy in the best possible way.
This could be so helpful.
Oh,
like if I wanted
helpful.
to start, like I talked to an astrologer, if I want to start a business, you could tell me when's a good time to start it.
Exactly. So in the case of this client that I was working with and her son losing the job, I looked at his yearly spread of energies and I saw the job loss. And I can see job loss with like a 9 of spade. It's a 9 of spade kind of energy, and it did show up there. And she said to me, well, is he going to get a new job? And is it going to be soon? So looking further at his cards for that year, I saw a really important card, which is an Ace of Diamond. And the Ace of Diamond, the meaning of it is new work. And it happened to fall under Jupiter, which if you remember, that means it's an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
And the energy for that was strongest beginning in June of this year. So I told this client and her son, apply for everything right now, really put all of your energy, because you have the energy for new work coming up pretty quickly. She sent me an email last week, and she said she was excited to tell me that he'd started a new job in June.
That's so
and he
good.
was really happy with his new job. So this system can really give like peace of mind for people, and to encourage people to do things and give them and have them leverage the energy.
That's wonderful. I mean, you know, we can be intuitive and have our intuition help us, but this seems like an extra tool to use.
It is. In fact, let me use Chang as an example.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
To show you a really powerful example.
Is he a real
of
person,
this.
by the way?
He is a real person. You knew that. So Chang lives in North Portland. 46 is his age currently. And Chang has very interesting card energies for this year. So let me highlight those. The 9 of Diamond is his Jupiter card, an 8 of Diamond environment card, and the 10 of Diamond displaced card. Now in Cardology, there are 12 aspects of energies that you can look for that mean you will attract a lot of money into your life. 3 of them Chang had this year, or has this year. So the 9 of Diamond in Jupiter basically means affluence and an opportunity to grow through having a lot of money at
Does
your
that mean
disposal.
that money will just drop in his lap, or does he have to work for it?
That's a great question. That's a it'll drop in your lap kind of an energy.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I want one of those.
Yes, right? Right?
Yeah.
And then his environment card is an 8 of Diamond, and the 8 of Diamond means the power over money card, and your environment is your blessing for the year, so that would suggest that he'll be blessed with having some power over money and finances. And then the displaced card, the displaced is what takes your attention that year, and the 10 of Diamond is an interesting energy because it's the year that you have your biggest, like your blessing for your entire lifetime.
The 10 of Diamonds.
Yes.
Displaced didn't sound positive to me, but
Oh, it's definitely a positive card. It's
well, the 10
basically
of
where you
Diamonds
get
is-
your wish. And that can be a material wish if you want. So to give you a little bit of background on Chang, Chang was diagnosed with cancer, and he was undergoing chemotherapy, and he was really worried about his family, and by losing his life, you know, leaving his family without an income. So he bought a whole bunch of Powerball tickets, put them underneath his pillow, and prayed and wished. Having those 3 wonderful money aspects, he won $1.3 billion
bless
in
his heart.
Powerball.
I hope he can do something for his
April.
health.
Yes, and that happened here in Portland
wonderful.
in April.
That's a wonderful story.
Yeah, I love
it.
this story because it shows the
Yeah.
power of the cards. Now, I don't want to mislead everyone and think that, like, you can come to me and I can tell you when you're going to win $1 billion in Powerball,
or that you
right?
can pray for money.
Right? Like, you can pray for money, it'll happen. This is a very rare kind of
Well, you have no
aspect.
influence on it. It's not you.
Right, right.
Yeah, you're just interpreting what comes up.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That is so nice. Well, I don't know who Chang is, but I hope that his health improves as well. I mean, to me, that would be even more important. But,
exactly.
Now, you could do cards for couples too. Like if somebody has a, you know, they want to know, did I marry the right person, or?
Right. I work with a lot of couples, mostly in terms of like looking at compatibility with each other. But also looking at like parenting. Sometimes parents will have different parenting styles based on their birth card, and so I work with them to understand how to not only respect each other's style, but how to have those styles work together to raise children. I'll give you an example of that. So I had a couple originally come to see me for not only compatibility, but also they were wanting to move. And so I looked at both of their yearly spreads, and I saw that the energy to move really wasn't there that year. They wanted it to be, but it wasn't. It would take a little longer, like a little over like a year from when they came to see me. And sure enough, They didn't sell their house. They didn't move right away. It took about a year and a half. And the timing wasn't that good for them because their son, who was 6 years old at the time, he had just started first grade in one school. And then 3 weeks later, they moved, and there was a lot of chaos around the move, and put into a whole new school. And so the dad had a very strict authoritarian kind of a card. So when the teacher called and said that she was having behavioral problems with the son, the father just couldn't contain himself, and he was really upset and directed a lot of that at the child. So they came to me with that problem. And so obviously looked up the card of the child, and that child was as a 4 of diamond, which happens to be your card,
Yes.
Pauline.
So the child's lucky.
Exactly. So that card is known as the stability and values and money card. And so those cards need a lot of security, a lot of routine, a lot of structure. They need repetition. And so the chaos of a move just wasn't working really well. Now, mind you, this teacher was encouraging the parents to medicate him, wanting to refer him as potential ADHD. Knowing that card, I said to them, this is not a card that has a tendency for attention deficit disorder. What he needs is less chaos in his life. So I worked with the family. We decided that he needed to have his room completely organized before the rest of the house so that he'd have stability there. Mm-hmm. Their dinner routine was just all over the place because of the move, and so I got them to agree to make that like a very specific time and a very calm time, and then asked them to talk to the teacher and work with him in reteaching the expectations as well as the routines that they normally teach the first 2 weeks of school, because he missed out on that.
Yeah.
A month later, he was totally back to normal, totally no behavior problems, doing really well in school.
You know, I just related to that. You said we're both 4 of diamonds. I missed, I was always a very good student, but I missed my first 3 months of high school for numerous reasons. And so my grades suffered, and that really, I didn't want to go to school anymore, and I used to love school because I could not stand not being a good student. So I can relate to that. So I needed the stability of, that makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
I think it's so wonderful you can help these people. Rather than give them drugs, learn about, this is great. I love your book. I hope people will get it. I'm going to hold it up at the end. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted. You were going to say something more about this child?
Oh, I was just going to say more about you, and that, the numerology aspect of this, the number 4 represents stability. Mm-hmm. So think of the things that have 4 legs of a chair, 4 tires on a car. It helps stabilize things. So a move or whatever happened to you in high school is like pulling a leg off.
Oh, I never thought of that.
It makes you off balance.
Yeah.
And so you have to restabilize in order to feel more balanced and successful in life.
Yeah, I had a hard time. I mean, I was good. I couldn't stand not being a good student, so it really hurt.
Right. Well, you're a very dependable card energy, by the way. That's why.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you.
No, it wasn't like me. Now, you did my husband's and my cards, and I was really happy and pleased with what turned out. So if people want to know, about their relationships with their mate or, the significant other, you can do that for them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example of that. So my husband, based on his birth date, he is associated with a 7 of heart playing card. And if you look at my life spread, look, there's a 7 of heart.
Saturn.
So he's my direct Saturn card.
What does that mean?
That type of an energy in our relationship, Saturn is the teacher. Saturn's all about commitment too.
Saturn
does get a bad rap. So in that it's also associated with like hardships. But in that particular placement, he represents someone who will be like a teacher for me, and also be someone that will be committed to me for life.
You know, I think I don't know if you have children. I think you have a child.
I do.
Lucky, because what you're doing, I think it's wonderful. I mean, children are very important, and in order to understand them and help them that way, rather than give them, you know, whatever. I don't want to get into that.
And no matter the age, too, because my son is an adult now, and just this year, he had an ace of spade in Jupiter, which would indicate new work. And I kept telling him, like, honey, you've got new work. He's like, I'm good, Mom. I'm not applying for a new job. I'm good. And then as soon as that energy was really strong, I brought it up, the topic again. And he told me that there were 2 other firms that approached him. He didn't even apply for a job, and they had heard about his work, and they offered him work. So the energy was there.
That's wonderful.
But there is free will. He decided not to take either of those jobs. And that's the beauty of the system, too, that just because you have the energies, you still can choose.
But, yeah, free will is good, but it seems like you were guided to something better and you gave it up. I don't, oh well.
Yeah, but there's other opportunities for that. It's just like I tell parents, too, that there are different energies, opportunities throughout their life to even have children, to give birth. There are cards that will indicate. Sometimes I can even tell the sex of the child based on their cards. Yeah.
But I think to know when to have a child, that would be great.
Right.
God.
Exactly.
This, this is also new to me. It blows my mind. Now we talked about something. This is connected with reincarnation. I forget, based on the concept of reincarnation.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Sure. So this system is based on the concept of reincarnation, in that the 52 playing cards represent 52 life paths or lessons that a soul is to learn in order to gain spiritual enlightenment.
Wow.
Each incarnation is an opportunity for spiritual growth. And there's actually an order to the lessons. So if you're born a heart birth card, you're a young soul, you're a newer soul. And you have very, your gifts, but also your lessons to learn revolve around love and relationships. And you begin as an incarnation as the Ace of Heart, and then you graduate the next incarnation as a 2 of Heart, and so on until you have an incarnation as the King of Heart. And the King of Heart has all of this past life experience of being an ace through a queen, and they apply it by being a king and ruling and leading in love and relationships.
So a king is an old soul. You told my granddaughter was a king.
Right.
And my daughter. So I've got a daughter as an old soul.
Exactly.
And I forget what I am. I'm in middle.
You're closer to being like an older soul.
Oh, okay.
Because then the next set of lessons.
I'm not surprised because I'm interested in this stuff.
Exactly. The next set of lessons are club lessons. So a person that's born a club playing card, their gifts, but their lessons in life revolve around communication and knowledge. So like I fit within that. And then diamonds.
But you're an older soul.
I am for my suit because I'm a queen.
Yeah.
For sure. So I have a lot of past knowledge in clubs, and then all the knowledge of the hearts. And then the oldest souls are actually the spades, people who are spade cards. And they're here to experience gifts and have lessons around health and work.
Now, we don't have a lot of time, but I'm just curious about how, because I've interviewed people on tarot cards, but this was like way over my head, although I'm very fascinated. I want to learn more. But so how did tarot grow out of cardology? I mean, do you know?
So I know that this happened probably sometime in the 14th century. There are 78 tarot cards and only 52 playing cards. So there are similarities, and the similarity is with the minor arcana of the tarot cards. So the equivalency would be that in cardology, the heart cards would be equivalent to the cup cards.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Tarot seems it's more like a divination type thing where you get intuition. The cards come out, you intuit.
Correct.
Where this is more scientific, seems.
Yes, because those energies are predestined. So tarot does more of like a here and now kind of intuition and energy, whereas this.
Yeah, I watch a tarot show. I just fascinated by
Oh,
it. And
I
the man
agree.
I interviewed, he was so left-brained, and all of a sudden, I forget how he got into tarot. He said it rolled his life. He was everything. He wouldn't do anything without his tarot. Now, before we go, I want you to tell me about this. Well, we're going to give out your information. We're going to give out the information on your book. I'm telling you, folks, this book is so incredible. It looks, I mean, to help children, I think it's wonderful. So we'll give you information on how to get in touch with you, Donna. You have a website, you have an Instagram, and then what's this other thing you do on YouTube? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, my journey with the cards began as I was applying it to help me be a better teacher. And so that's still a passion of mine, is to work with parents and families and children.
I love it.
So I've actually collaborated with 3 other practitioners. One has over 30 years as a family therapist. And we have put together a weekly YouTube show. It airs 2 o'clock p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. And it's called the Family Card Table. We call it that because what we say is that we like to put all the cards on the table and honor each family member's cards.
Put all the cards on the table. Love
And
it.
so we explain in the show how cardology can be used to help harmonize families and how help families have better understandings of each other, relate to each other, and have respect for each other. So
I'm so glad that I found you, because I think this information you're giving out is going to help people so much, and it touches my heart. And you did my reading too, and I appreciate it. I learned a lot about myself. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you for watching another edition of Parapsychology Today, and we'll have a lot of information about Donna Webb on our credits, so please look at that, because she's got such great stuff to offer. And once again, if you have any, we have a, Kelly will put up the email. You can email us if you have any suggestions for our show, if you have people you want to suggest to be on our show, topics, metaphysical, either metaphysical or alternative healing or whatever, we'll consider it. Okay, thanks for watching, and we want to thank the people at MCM TV here in McMinnville, and Kyle and Phil, who helped us with the station and everything. We appreciate their time and effort. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.